Hello, this is Valerie Aiello, and you're listening to Idea Diary. Thanks for coming back to my office and hanging out. Today I wanted to talk about Bob Proctor for some reason. January, February, March, April now. I've just been going through it. There's just sometimes when I feel like everything is research, everything is just crafting and molding without having much output. And it just feels like I'm going through a time, not like a dark night of the soul exactly, but just revamping, taking things to the next level where things aren't necessarily moving fast paced. They aren't going forward fast. It's just a lot of research, a lot of tweaking, a lot of redoing stuff. I'm going through that right now for some reason. So I decided to watch some Bob Proctor videos just to kind of get back into my brain, try to find a flow. It was just something that I thought I should do. I don't know. It was probably an algorithm thing that a Bob Proctor video came up, and then I started watching it, and then I started taking notes, and then I was like, okay, yeah, let me just like refocus on this. There's at least 4 very successful people that I know. They talk about they went to Bob Proctor seminars or masterminds or whatever he did when he was alive. He kind of recently passed away. So a lot of people that he worked with have a lot of memories of him. He was a live, vibrant 80-year-old that, just taught a lot of people how to just be successful doing whatever they wanted to do. So anyway, I wrote down some things that, you always know things, but you always constantly have to keep practicing. I always think of Pavarotti. Even if you're like the best opera singer in the world, you still take vocal lessons until the day you want to stop performing. You are always practicing. So I think with mindset, stuff like that, you really do need to like constantly take notes on yourself, rethink, kind of evaluate like, who am I? What am I doing? And plus we change. The things that were exciting in our 20s might not be in your 40s and, whatever. So Bob Proctor says, what do you want to do? So I made a huge big list of all the things that I want to do in my 80s and my today and, things that seem impossible but could be fun, things that just seem easy and realistic if I were to choose that. So I just wrote down all the things that I'm good at and that I would like to do and my priorities and, just kind of went through, reevaluated, and got my like what to do list down or what I want to do. And then he asked like, do you see it? And I'm the kind of person like, I don't need to know the how. I can just, if I want to do it, I will figure it out and I will start today. I'd say that I don't necessarily think that I mind risk so much. I don't like to lose money for sure. However, if there's something that I could try that doesn't take like a big investment or investors or, if I can figure out how to do it for free or to try it for free, I will do that. And the how I think fills in somehow. Somehow the how unfolds. I don't know how it all works, but it's usually, it's going to be fine if you want to try it. The next thing he talks about is how do you see it all unfolding? How do you think it's actually possible? So he talks about making a movie in your mind and kind of reliving it over and over again, which I agree with. I know impossible things can happen. I know you could get magical checks and I know you can have a free house handed to you. The handed part, you can't have a free house. You can have a lot of things that you think that you have to work really hard for, but that's not necessarily true. I think being able to see it as a possibility is one thing. Being able to imagine how it could unfold is another thing, but also being open to outcomes because magic can happen and things can unfold in crazy ways. So just keeping that in mind. It's kind of just positive thinking, but sometimes it's hard to do. So I think with my ability to make things happen and a lot of times things happen slowly for me, it's just takes a little time and I have to be patient, which I am. The make a decision part, he talks about that. And I think that's what I've been missing out, kind of really focusing on making a decision because I'm a multi-hyphenate, a multi-passionate, I know a lot of different tech. I know a lot of different tools. I like a lot of different media, art media, and different things like cameras or actually painting or drawing, graphic design or drawing fine art. There are a lot of things that are interesting to me, and I think I might have had too wide of a net to make things happen very fast. So I'm kind of reevaluating that. I want to do it all, and hopefully I get to. At the same time, I'm wondering, well, maybe take a year and do one thing at a time, or, figure it out in a different way. I know there's a process for me where I can focus and still have it all. I don't think you have to choose. However, I do think possibly I wasn't fully making a decision of exactly what I wanted. I was kind of like, I would love all these 100 things to happen to me. And he talks about, what do you love and what do you want to sell? So Bob Proctor always says, like, figure out what you love, figure out how to sell it, and be the best at selling it. And that is the law of compensation. The better you get at that, the more money you're going to get, and, brings happiness because you're doing or selling or existing in something that you really love doing. It all kind of comes together. So he talks about self-actualization thinking, which is another thing that I feel like I do well. I can sit and be with myself and think of all the positive things and the negative things and what am I doing? How can I do it better? However, the things that don't happen, where you got to kind of wait on luck, wait on someone to choose you, wait on something. There's not always a driver's seat situation. I don't think that I've been fully putting myself in the driver's seat as much as I probably could be. And even though I'm a self-starter and I will make something happen, like a YouTube channel or a podcast or make my own movie or record my own band, there's a lot of things where I don't wait around. But to get to that next professional level where you feel like you need other professional people surrounding you or doing something with you, I don't think I've been so much in the driver's seat as I could be. So I'm reevaluating that, which is I need to make a decision more. I need to have more clarity in the things that I want to try, and maybe not wait for the perfect professional team of people to come together so that we can all make this cool thing happen. But just get more in the driver's seat. Maybe be willing to take a few more risks. These are just things that I know that could be helpful to take things to the next level. And then Bob Proctor talks about tuning into the frequency like a radio station, which I fully believe. I really do think whatever you want to be, you can tune into that frequency. It doesn't mean that you're going to magically be a rock star just because you thought about it really hard and you've focused on that energy. But when you are living that frequency, then you start meeting the right people. You're not even putting yourself in the right places. The right places are just magically around you somehow. So with the making the decision, with the putting myself in the driver's seat more, and with the really focusing on stopping and thinking and figuring out how can I make my frequency more towards what I actually want to happen. Yeah, just things I'm doubling down on. I feel like this is hopefully helpful to people that are really into self and self-actualization and all that stuff, and building their dream life. I think that we can think and think and think, and we can work and work and work, but there's always more things to fine tune, more things to work on. So Bob Proctor always says, you've got to kiss yourself. He'll ask, do you love yourself? Do you want to take yourself out on a date? Do you want to hug yourself and just kind of overwhelmingly be in love with yourself, which I feel like I'm pretty good at. I'm more upset that I'm not more successful. I probably think higher of myself than the actual output, just because I know the possibility. I know I want all these things for a reason, because They can happen. It's just they haven't happened yet. So I feel like I'm pretty positive about myself. The one thing that gets you is time. I mean, I feel like I just moved into the house that we live in now, and it's been like 4 years, and it's just like, whoa, time flies. And then that's really weird the older you get, but that's part of living. I think the puzzle that we are putting together, time's a factor, and the older you get, you look different, things are different, but at the same time, you're the same person. So making sure that you love yourself and giving yourself that attention is apparently part of Bob Proctor's success. And then he also asked, what do I believe is true about me, about you, about me? And there's a lot of things that I think maybe good and bad that I believe are true about me, but you can change things that you don't like, and you can add things that you do like. For example, I really want to have really cool workout classes that are usually pretty expensive, but I always feel guilty working out and spending money on a class when you can technically, you can just work out for free and it's probably fine. There's things that I wish I had an alter ego to be like, no, you can do this. Here's the budget. It's no big deal. Guilt-free spending, workout budget. There's ways to do things that you want to do. And sometimes you got to trick your brain. I know a lot of people are naming their brain, or I've seen people talk about it on TikTok, where they're naming their self-talk, their negative self-talk brain, where they're like, not today. Or I was kind of thinking, I need to name my gold mine brain. If I could just think of my own head being like a little gold mine, there's like a little factory in there, little people digging out ideas, and just like gold comes out. Everything I do is amazing. Trying to refocus my self-talk, negative self-talk, what I actually believe in myself. I think that could use a revamp for sure. And the last thing that I'm doing, Bob Proctor talked about the law of increase. He says you've got to leave everyone better off after they meet you, and that's the law of increase. If you're working with the law of compensation, which is find something you love and be really great at selling it, the impression of increase is just making sure that you are bringing something to the world that makes it better. And I also kind of interpret it as clarity. The better you are at selling, at making the thing and selling the thing that you love, I think having a lot of clarity, which is usually with branding and marketing, is where the clarity comes in and the communication of that. I think that is where the impression of increase comes into play. It's all kind of comes together. We're all a business. So if it's just the business of me and I'm making my own money for me in my own ways, I think everything when it comes to branding, marketing, a product, sales, everything kind of comes together. And the things that you don't know about, like say accounting or legal stuff, all that other stuff will fall into place. I think the best that we could do is just keep making our own little factories of ourselves. And that's what I'm doing. And hopefully everyone's better off hanging out with me or discovering my podcast. And as I'm revamping my priorities and just tuning to the frequency that I actually want to experience, it's all happening all the time. I mean, it might still be happening when you're in your 90s. I have no idea. But hopefully we're all doing it and we're all doing it together. All right, that's the show. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Bye.